Hi everyone. Today we're going to be presenting our vision of Chicago for the year 2050 and how we can make it more sustainable for the future. And our agenda follows pretty closely to everyone else who's gone, so we're going to go over a quick background, discuss some of the existing infrastructure, and then go over our vision and design. So a quick background, Chicago is the 5th largest city in America with 2.3 million people, but an important caveat is that there are 9.5 million people living in the greater Chicago area. So that shows you the issue that they have with sprawl, which we'll get into a little later, and its implications. It's ranked the 49th most sustainable city in the world and 5th in the U.S., so it already has a decent base in terms of sustainability. And it's the 2nd most bike-friendly city in the U.S., while also having the highest square footage of green roofs installed in the U.S., which is a very good sign. So just in terms of buildings, this is for homes. About 25% of the homes are detached single-family homes, and just around 70% are apartments ranging from 2 units all the way up to greater than 10 units. As well, the buildings in Chicago are quite old, with about 64% being built before the year 1960, and so this is an issue in terms of building codes and them not being up to standard with some of the modern visions that the city has. In terms of infrastructure for its transportation, its rail system right now is quite good. It has a radial model that connects everyone to the center of the city, and its bus network is well developed, but we still believe that there is room for improvement. In terms of land use, the light green area that you can see on the outskirts here, those are single-family detached homes, and so we'll get into how we want to redesign this area for Chicago. In the center, we do have some high-rise mixed-use buildings, but also, as you can see, there are some of these dark areas that are parks, but there really aren't that many in the core of the city, so we'll also address that issue. And just quickly, we'll just show you the urban metabolism. So the numbers on the last column on the right there, you can just see our CO2 emissions are currently at 12.2 tons per capita per year. And through our design, we've lowered that number to 2.4 tons per capita per year. And you can also see our wastewater numbers and solid waste numbers. And we've just improved those by really increasing the recycling rates. So now we'll describe how we got those numbers and how we improved the infrastructure of the city. So we'll start with the buildings. As we discussed, about 90% of the buildings were built before the year 1990, which was when the Chicago Energy Conservation Code was implemented, so that's a big issue that the city is facing. In terms of retrofitting, we believe that there are many strategies that will be conducive to Chicago to helping them become more sustainable. One of those strategies is implementing ENERGY STAR certified LEDs and water-sense shower heads in pipe installation to help with energy loss. As well, just introducing grants to incentivize the use of these new technologies. As well, we'd like to continue to implement green roofs throughout the city because it's been so successful so far, and this helps in reducing the heating and cooling needs of the buildings, and also helps with rainwater capture, which helps the recycling rates of the wastewater that we can use for the buildings. And as well, in single-family homes, we did a calculation which showed that implementing new ENERGY STAR construction materials, such as new insulation and materials like that, can save up to 2,300 kilowatt hours of energy per year, which is an average of around $400 per the single-family home. So we believe that if these new construction materials can be applied to larger high-rise buildings, that we can definitely save a lot more money and energy as well. In terms of new buildings, we'd just like to improve the building codes and again, incentivize greener building strategies through the government. And we'd also like to add better tracking systems for wastewater and energy, because we believe that if you can see where exactly your losses are coming from, building owners will be definitely more aware of how they can make the building greener. And just in terms of new technologies that we came across, there's smart brick technology, and that will help lower the heating and cooling costs of a building as it absorbs heat in the winter and reflects heat in the summer months. And we, in Chicago, about 60% of a building's energy is consumed due to heating and cooling. So this is definitely a technology that we think will take the city in the right direction. And now for transportation, we'd like to improve the rail that is currently in place. As you can see, the image on the left here is what's currently implemented, but we'd like to just extend the lines, some of the dashed lines here. Chicago has one of the highest commuting rates or commuting times in America, and so we believe that if we can extend the lines a little further and make the lines more efficient and quicker, that people will have more incentive to take the rail. And transportation sector also accounts for 25% of the city's emissions, which is quite high, and we believe that if we can incentivize people to take public transportation, that this rate will be lowered significantly. In terms of private vehicles, we'd like to make at least 50% of the vehicles electric. Like we said, a lot of people coming in are commuters from the sprawled area of the city, so if we can get them to take public transit, that would be ideal, but also with the emergence of better electric technology for vehicles, we think that if we can incentivize them to take that as well, then that will help reduce the emissions. And this is just the modal split that is being used in 2017 and our goal for 2050. So obviously we would like to reduce the private vehicle usage and increase primarily the public transit sector.
Talking about land use design, we have an exploding population in Chicago, which will be increasing from 2.7 million to 5 million in 2050. So so here comes the first problem is the downtown core is overcrowded. So our first plan is to expand the downtown core, and in order to do that, we may have to reallocate some of the industrial area close to downtown core to the city boundary, and replacing them, we are designing to develop more high density residential area and mixed use of commercial area to provide better accessibility to different services. And in terms of our community design, we are promoting workable community all over the city by developing, by first of all, building more higher buildings to increase the population density, and then provide different services in the local community area. And for our community, we will also implement more accessibility design as a public transit, and also to promote like active modes such as walking and cycling. And in terms of energy use, as we mentioned before, we are trying to reduce the credit card use, and the aim is to reduce the car ownership from 1.12 cars per household to 1.0 cars per household. However, taking consideration that the self-driving technology is developing, and based on some literature, this kind of reduction in travel costs will result in like increasing demand of the traveling. So we take a really conservative assumption that the total energy consumption from the transportation sector will remain the same. However, as we mentioned before, like the preliminary energy source will be switched from fossil fuels to over 50% of electricity. And for buildings, more energy efficient materials will be built, more higher standard building code will be implemented. So we assume a 50% energy consumption per capita will be seen, and the total of 34 mega BTU of saving per capita per year will be occurred in year 2050. And in total, this will result in a reduction of energy intensity of 4,500 BTU per dollar GDP per capita to around 3,000 BTU per dollar capita per dollar GDP per capita. So in terms of water in terms of water, the best and the most simple way is to reduce the water usage. So we will implement some new improved applications to reduce the water use for different types of households. And installation of the water recycling system will also help, but due to the high density of the Chicago population right now, it might not be possible to install the gray water system in every single house, but we will promote, and this will result in higher recycle rates in water use. Talking about the waste, Chicago is now at a really low recycling rate at around 10%, which is a result of which is a result of not really organized recycling system. So many companies are competing in the city and they are covering different areas, making it extremely hard for the residents to pick up a company and to use their service. So our plan is to introduce a public-private partnership structure for the waste recycling system, just like what Toronto does right now. So we will cooperate with some private companies and provide this waste recycling service as a city, like a public service. And we hope this will increase the recycling rate from 10% to 25% by 2050. And learning from a small Japanese town, we're supposed to build up a citywide network for trading used items, and just to reduce the amount of new purchase, so that we can reduce the waste from the packaging stuff. Talking about our mechanism. So first of all, as I mentioned, the energy structure will be shifted from fossil fuel-based to renewable energy. So compared with year 2017 this year, we'll see a huge increase in the non-hydraulic renewable energy, and we will see the coal power will be dropped to zero, because City of Chicago has recently closed their last coal-based power plant. And based on the assumption that the huge increase in population, which is 85%, we will see an increase in total energy demand. So to meet that demand, we may have to increase some natural gas-based power plants, because with the capacity of nuclear will not be expanded that easily, and the increase in the renewable energy could not meet that demand. From the table, we can see that the population will be increased by 85%. The food consumption will be increased accordingly, but the energy demand will increase only by 65%, which is due to all the energy saving practices we implemented. And the most importantly, the total carbon dioxide emission, GHG emission, will be reduced by 63%. So again, our vision. So per capita, we will have a GHG emission reduction by 80%. However, due to the population increase, we will only see a 60% citywide, and we will have 25% reduction in water usage, and the recycle rate for water will be increased from 8% to 30%. For solid waste, as I mentioned, we will increase the recycle rate from 10 to 25%.
So just quickly to end it off, in addressing the Sustainable Development Goal 11, we haven't directly addressed it in every target that they put out. But basically, we've improved transportation coverage and accessibility by improving our bus lanes and our new rail systems. And we'd just like to promote urban growth in sustainable ways. Reduce flood risks we've addressed in terms of our green roofs, and that helps our rainwater management and stormwater management. Improving the air quality by making our energy sources cleaner and reducing the transportation energy intensities. And also just better waste management practices through recycling and just the citywide trading systems that we'd like to implement. So thank you for listening.